Hi YouTube, this is Tinka OES Lady. I'm coming to do a brief update on my students. We are in the process of preparing right now for the PSSAs. This is the standardized test that children are having to take in Pennsylvania. As homeschoolers, we still have to follow the rules of the district, and the district has students in varying grades. So not every grade will be taking the PSSA. So what we do is next week on Tuesday and Wednesday, we will be going to the Pennsylvania Convention Center to take this test. Now, I have actually this year taken a little extra time in coaching them on the test. And in that I mean not just the actual benchmarks and things that they're supposed to know. I'm also teaching them on how to pace themselves, how to stay relaxed, how to take a deep breath, and how not to get stuck on a difficult question and therefore not able to complete as many questions as they need to that they may know the answer to. I'm also encouraging them to not leave anything blank, and if need be, to use process of elimination using your quantitative way of thinking and eliminate the things that you don't believe are true and guess. And I believe that this is something that will definitely help them for their tests. Um, as usual, these tests often have questions or items on there that the kids have not yet mastered or have not even gotten to yet. And this is always the case. So I tell them that. So when you see something on the test, they may panic and say, wow, I don't know this at all. I've never seen this before at all. And so therefore they feel as though um, they don't know it and have a hard time on it. And what I'm telling them is that there may be some things on there that you haven't quite seen before, but maybe you can figure it out. If not, don't spend a lot of time on it, and then try to go back and do the best you can on them. The test is from 8 a.m. to approximately 12 o'clock. Generally, the kids are finished at 11:30. They are allowed to bring, for my older child, she's allowed to bring her calculator, and they will be provided a formula sheet. Now, last year we kind of relaxed and waited to find out what the formula sheet was. This year I'm making sure that we go through the formula sheet because there is a way to access it before the test, and make sure that when you get to a certain problem, you know what formula to use and you're familiar with working a problem based on the formula. Because a lot of times, as you know, if you've taken standardized tests, the formula cannot help you if you do not know how to break down the problem. For my third grader, this is her first time taking a PSSA test. So for her, I'm just trying to teach her a little bit of discipline about having to sit and do a whole lot of questions at one time and not letting her mind wander, and to stay focused, and have also gone over with her how to make an educated guess. Because there will be things on there that she may not have mastered or has not seen yet. Other than that, all the things that she has seen and mastered, I believe that she will do well. A lot of the questions are trick questions, and I don't think that they're done purposely. I'm not sure about that. I won't even go into that, but I have taught them to look for these questions when sometimes they use like a double negative in a question. I want them to be able to decipher what they're asking them and be able to regurgitate the answer. At this point, I do believe that for my third grader, with this being her first time doing it, I think that she's going to do okay if she doesn't let her mind wander. I believe that she will finish early because she tends to do her normal schoolwork pretty quickly. As far as for my seventh grader, um, I'm not really sure how she's going to do. Um, She is usually really good with the comprehension of the reading portion. The math part she may struggle with, but I'm not going to go into this with her about struggling with math because math is not her favorite, but I am encouraging her to do her best and that she does know this. You know this. You know this. You know this. You have done it before and you can do this. And I encourage her to work the problem, scratch it out, work it out, and just try to do the best as she can. I do think that both of the students will do well. Thirdly, like I said, Tuesday and Wednesday morning we will be at the convention center, and Thursday, I'm so excited. We're getting on the train. We're taking Amtrak to Orlando, Florida. It will be the girls' first time on the Amtrak train. So I have a neighbor who works for Amtrak who has brought us brochures and schedules so that we know which town we're in at each time approximately, and the kids will be able to look forward to different towns and also to check off as we go through the journey. The trip itself is about 21 hours, and I believe that this will give them a chance to do a lot of looking out the window, looking at how our country is so different as you go from north to south. I think that's going to be interesting for them to see. At stations where we're able to get off, they will get a chance to see how the different stations look compared to our station, 30th Street Station here in Pennsylvania, and they will most likely get to meet some other kids, because generally what they do is once they see that you're purchasing a ticket and you're traveling with children, they will group you with people who are also traveling with children. And there's a club car. We plan to play cards and board games, possibly do some schoolwork, and we're just going to have a good time. We're going to make a go at it. I did not get the sleeper car, although when I have traveled with my daughter before, we did get the sleeper car. However, I think we would have been just as comfortable in the chair because we didn't, once they pulled the bed down for us, we still ended up kind of sitting up for a long time. And I think it was because it was the excitement, and, we were changing our clothes and getting ready for, the next day and doing our hair and everything. So it went by so fast. I do plan on making reservations for us to eat in the dining car, which is normally reserved for people who have purchased a sleeper car or who are traveling first class, so that we will have an enjoyable experience with our dining. Other than that, I'm looking forward to the trip on the train and looking forward to getting to Orlando. I have also gotten travel journals for the girls. They're very small, lined books for them to write their thoughts, places they've seen, and just in general, anything in their journal that they want during the trip. And this will include going, the time that we're there, and coming back, and I cannot wait. I plan not to read them until I get back. It's going to be their secret until we get back, so they can write as much or as little, and I do believe that they're going to write quite a bit. Um, that's pretty much it. As far as the journey with homeschooling this year, I have to say that I'm glad that we caught on to blocking our schedules last year because that is helpful. However, anyone who took my advice and is blocking and is having problems, then you may have done something that has happened to us in the past. When you block a schedule and you miss a day, like for a field trip or a child is sick or we have to go out and do doctor's appointments or something like that, then that means about 5 math lessons were missed. That's like a week's worth. And that means that that goes onto your schedule as overdue lessons. And generally you cannot move on until those are done. So this goes back to some of the things I said originally about not being able to pick and choose how you progress in the lessons. A lot of times I may think one portion of the math is easier and I want to work on that, and something may take longer and I want to stay on that, and you cannot stay on it and progress. You have to finish it, in their opinion, finish it, meaning go through the lessons and click them off, or you're going to be behind. I also noticed that although they know the PSSA is coming up and parents are working on coaching the kids and getting them prepared for the PSSA, that there are a lot of portfolio assignments. And portfolio assignments generally take 1 to 3 scheduled days. And it requires generally a writing assignment or some type of project or some type of lab. The labs, if it's for science, um, they're pretty lengthy, but once you get the hang of it, you can get them done. For Camille, we have a few of those to do, and I'm really just going to kind of fall back on those right now because we have the PSSA coming up. Um, we are going to Orlando. I do plan to have them to continue to do their work from their laptops while we are in Orlando. And I know that it's not their spring break, but I did not want to block out this time as vacation day. We are allotted some days, but I do want them to continue to work. Then in April, they are allotted days for spring break / Easter break, whatever you want to call it. That's in April, and at that time, I do want them to have a break. That's why I'm having them to continue to work through our trip. I want them to enjoy the break. By that time, we may or may not be back to Philadelphia, but if we're still in Orlando, I am going to use that time to visit some of the parks. And if we're back in Philadelphia, we will do likewise. We will visit some of the sites here. We'll take the duck boats. We'll take the Spirit of Philadelphia. We'll go on some of the free tours and some of the museums. Due to the weather this year, we did not get out to a lot of the museums. We did go to the African American Doll Museum on February 18th, and it was not a largely attended field trip. It was me, my daughters, my son who's 2, my husband, um, another student and her mother, and the coordinator and her daughter. So total, it was about 7 of us. 8 if you include my husband, who basically was the chauffeur. So anyway, this African American Doll Museum is within the city. It's a small, somewhat, I would say like a storefront museum run by the curator, I don't remember her name right now, who's been collecting dolls for years. And she generally just collects dolls that have some meaning, that tell something about the era that we're living in. And so they're just not a whole bunch of pretty dolls. She has like Muhammad Ali dolls. She has Satchmo. She has some of the older German-made dolls, which basically show what they thought black dolls should look like at the time. So they vary. Some of them are extremely, extremely dark, and the features are very, very African American, and some of them are just the same mold as the white dolls, but made brown. So it's very interesting. I wish I had the pictures or the capability to put them up at some time. Maybe I will, because we do plan to go back. At any rate, this has been my update on the second year of Connections Academy. This is pre-PSSA. We're on a crunch. After that, it is just downhill from there, and everything is going well. Thank you for watching. Please rate, comment if you need to, and subscribe. And I answer questions whenever someone puts a question up. I do get back with you because I know people are looking into Connections Academy for next year. Thank you. This has been Tinka OES Lady.